I'm Francesca Onofrio, and coming up on KUJH, I visit with White House correspondents Francesca Chambers and Eugene Daniels. Behind me is a camp that will be shut down in the coming weeks. The director of Homelessness Solutions Divisions said that each resident of the camp will be offered resources. Thanks, Cameron. The camp behind me was shut down by the city just 2 days ago, and it is currently being bulldozed, leaving its residents with limited options. The city urged the residents to relocate to the Lawrence Community Shelter, but many chose to move to a second camp. This is the second camp to be shut down by the city in the past year. The unsanctioned camp that many chose to move to is named The Hole. The city is hoping to end homelessness through their 5-year plan, which is currently in their second year. This plan has helped 61 people so far, with 166 being the goal to help by the end of the year. Back to you in the studio, Cameron. Thanks, Karen. Emily, the main purpose of the office is to serve Native and Indigenous students, staff, and faculty. It's intended to help KU build and maintain relationships with Indian country and tribes across the region. Alex Redcorn, a KU alum, is central to this mission as Associate Vice Chancellor for Sovereign Partnerships and Indigenous Initiatives. Redcorn is also the Director and Associate Professor of Indigenous Studies at KU. Lori Hasselman is also instrumental in her work as Director of the newly created office. Dr. Redcorn shared more about the Memorandum of Understanding.
The way that it's built, it allows us to be more flexible to new ideas and new areas of growth that we can grow our partnership in, and establish spin-off partnerships that are more focused on unique topics or unique opportunities.
Both universities agreed on and updated the Memorandum of Understanding, both agreeing to commitments such as articulation, research programs, and services. In addition to the renewal, a permanent interinstitutional committee was created, and members will be appointed by President Arpan and Chancellor Gerard. The committee will meet at least once a semester to ensure both universities are cooperating and participating. For more details about the memorandum, visit sovereignpartnerships.ku.edu/MOU. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, the population in Lawrence has been consistently growing over the past 24 years, which means more people are calling 911, leading to longer response times. Simon Stevenson, a paramedic engineer and the secretary of the Lawrence Firefighter Union, shared more about the safety concerns for the citizens of Lawrence.
So the last time we really added a station in Lawrence was like 2006. And our department ran around 9,500 calls, I think roughly around 9,000 calls at that point in time. Last year in 2023, we ran just shy of 17,000 calls.
One solution to this problem is adding 2 more fire stations. The Lawrence Douglas County Fire Medical presented 2 options to the City Commission in 2023. However, the expansions would be funded by additional property taxes. Having 2 new stations would help with response time to areas that are not as close to current stations. However, the recent 2025 budget approval did not come without compromises. One compromise would be dropping firefighters from 4 people per truck to 3 people per truck. The National Fire Protection Association has a required number of staff that must be at each alarm of fire. For a low-level alarm fire, a minimum of 15 firefighters must be on scene. For a mid-level alarm, a minimum of 28 firefighters must be on scene. And for a high-level alarm fire, a minimum of 43 firefighters must be on scene.
If you drop from 4 to 3, it doesn't change the amount of people that you need at that incident. It changes the amount of trucks you're taking to that incident to get people there.
But Lawrence has a maximum of 36 firefighters on staff at one time. The city decided to keep 4 firefighters to a truck, but has delayed the approval of the expansion of 2 new stations. With the population growing, there needs to be more resources to keep people safe. The approval of the 2 new stations has been pushed back by at least a year. Sydney? Local community member Andy Purdue explains why these lands are so important to Lawrence and its environment. Haskell University lab assistant Courtney King also shares some knowledge about a possible burial site on this land and why this land is so important to the indigenous community. It is extremely important to know if children are buried on this land so they can be properly laid to rest.
Three, two, one.
And they're off. Competitors were able to choose whether they wanted to compete in a 5K or a 10K. Some decided to walk the course, but others have been training to run this race. The Masters Division first and second place winners have been waiting for this all year long. This event couldn't have happened if it weren't for the volunteers that helped put it together. Many people started the day celebrating in Kansas City, then came to Lawrence to join in on the fun. For many, this was their second parade of the day. At Terrebonne on Mass Street, many people gathered to have king cake beignets and some specially crafted cocktails. There were nearly 70 people that joined the parade, playing drums, trumpets, trombones, and even violins. The day was filled with music, homemade costumes, and beads that they have collected throughout the years. Mardi Gras holds a special place in a lot of people's hearts. Louisiana native and current KU student said it made him feel like he was back at home. People of all ages enjoyed the festivities, especially the children. The parade started at Terrebonne and ended at Lucia Bar and Grill on Mass. Lawrence recently passed a new policy regarding homelessness. This comes 3 months after the city approved a nearly $500,000 budget for a homeless response team. This new policy and the homeless response team will be working hand in hand to support the residents of Douglas County. One of the main goals is to help non-residents connect with their home county or state's resources. Unfortunately, Douglas County does not have the capacity to help everyone. However, Lawrence Community Shelter's executive director explains how this policy can be helpful for everyone.
This policy will provide us with more options to the people that we would normally say we can't provide any services. It will give us the ability to give them a number to the homeless response team and say, call this number and they will talk to you and do an assessment to find out if you're able to receive our services based on their assessment of what your needs are and where they can get you to where you have resources or support. It gives people an option to maybe go and receive some of those supports where they have them immediately instead of languishing here without those supports and struggling. It's not easy to be unhoused. It is not easy.
Behind me is a camp that will be shut down in the coming weeks. The director of Homelessness Solutions Divisions said that each resident of the camp will be offered resources.
And trying to figure out how we can work with individuals that aren't residents and still try to take care of them and get them connected to the right places, but still prioritize our Douglas County residents.
The goal of this policy is to help people find and secure resources. This is part of a 5-step plan expected to continue throughout 2028. For more information about this plan, please visit www.lawrence.ks.org.